Alright guys, welcome back then to the Royal Rumble review here on Sun Scotland TV. Back in the day, Royal Rumble used to be my favourite pay-per-view out of them all, but I realised now wrestling shit and I had pretty low expectations going into this one. So thankfully it didn't really disappoint because this show, in my opinion overall, it was pretty bad, it wasn't great. And we're going to review it now. Probably only two matches really worth mentioning, so I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail. But in the pre-show, we kicked off the tag team championships: Asuka, Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. The team of Baszler and Jax are awful, and of course that means they have to win the tag belts after Lacey Evans gets brass knucks for Ric Flair, hits Charlotte Flair with the women's rights. That should be enough to end the match, but then Nia Jax needs to drop her fucking fat ass on top of Charlotte to get the free count. So that's the pre-show match over and done with. We then move to the main show and we kick off with Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre. I like Goldberg. I think he's all right, but come on, these matches they're just unbelievable. I don't mind if the guy can only do a 5 minute match, but at least change up the fucking schedule. It's just finisher, finisher, finisher. It kind of reminds me of the old games where you could just pick unlimited finishers, and then it's as if they're just mashing the triangle button to see who can do the most finishers in the space of 5 minutes. Jackhammer, spear, claymore, jackhammer, spear, claymore. Awful shit. In the end, Goldberg missed the spear. McIntyre hit the claymore. McIntyre retains. They hug it out in the end, in the middle of the ring, showing respect, even though they didn't have much respect in the build up. And then Goldberg, I don't know if he was selling or whether he was just fucking gassed after wrestling for a couple of minutes, but he could barely get to the back. Sad to see Goldberg in this sort of shape. I'm not. I would like to see him back in some capacity. I don't. I wouldn't mind seeing him wrestle again, but at least just do a fucking. Why can't he just work a normal match? These finishers galore, just for me, it ruins it. And this match was shit. Did not like it at all. Speaking of shit, up next it's Sasha Banks versus Carmella. Kind of used this as a toilet break. I was playing a game of FIFA while it happened. Turned it off in time to see Sasha Banks win with the Sasha Banks, whatever the bank statement or whatever. So yeah, she wins. Wasn't surprised. I predicted that. So far my predictions are 2-2. I predicted Sasha Banks to win, and I predicted Drew McIntyre to win. I think I also predicted Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler to win, so I'm probably 3 for 3. Moving on, next match, Women's Royal Rumble. I didn't get this one right, but in all honesty, I could not care if I got this one right or got this one wrong. I just want to forget this match ever happened. Arguably the worst match I've ever seen, definitely the worst Royal Rumble I've ever seen. So uneventful, nothing happened. With a couple of WWE legends returning. When I say legends, I'm talking about the likes of Tori Wilson and Victoria, who were around in a good era of wrestling. They returned, and the commentary didn't really make much of a deal of it. They just kind of, oh, look there's Victoria, who we haven't seen in 10 years. Didn't make a big deal of it. But when someone like Lana returned, who we haven't seen in 3 weeks, they're marking out as if it's the biggest surprise ever. Honestly, didn't they get this? It comes down to the final three. There was nothing really happened in this match. No, there was no memorable spots really. Bailey did a cool elimination, and at the start, Billie Kay, in my opinion, probably the best thing about this Rumble. She was every time someone came down, she was sitting in it at ringside, and then she'd go up and try and get them to sign like a wee 10 by 8 photo of her, and she wanted to team up with people. Eventually, she teamed up with Jillian Hall. They went in the ring, even though she turned on an eliminator. I thought that was all right. We get to the point where Alexa Bliss comes in. She gets a wee flurry of offense going. Then all the women beat up on her, gang up on her. She's in the ring on her knees. The kind of the Her music goes a wee bit, the lights twitch, and then you kind of get the feeling she's going to switch into this other personality, this fiend-like personality. But before it can happen, Rhea Ripley, who looks like a fucking combination of Ruby Riott, Shag, and Charlotte Flair, just an just an awful combination. She looks like she throws her out, and that's it. Alexa Bliss is done. No big fiend angle, no big Alexa's going to turn into this, persona we've been seeing on Raw. None of that. Just she gets thrown out and that's it over. She walks to the back. Unbelievable. Natalia comes out number 30 as advertised. Fucking worst number 30 entrant of all time. She gets eliminated, and in the end, Charlotte gets eliminated by Belair and Rhea Ripley. And Rhea Ripley and Belair, it's awkward, man. They're purposely trying to eliminate themselves to make it look as if they're almost out the Royal Rumble. I mean, never ever have you seen this before. It looks fake as fuck. The 1 minute they're sitting on the apron fine, and then the next minute they're both like moving their body over so it looks like they're going to be eliminated. It was so fake, so phony. And then they agree to not eliminate each other and get back into the ring. Garbage, fucking awful. Rhea Ripley wins. No, I mean, Bianca Belair wins, but in the end, nobody wins. This was horrible feuding. Worst Royal Rumble match ever. Moving on, it is Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. I don't think last man standing matches are that great. In my opinion, you need two fucking amazing workers, two people that can sell, two people that know psychology to pull off a really, really good last man standing match. And in my opinion, these ain't the two to do it. But I've got to say, it's the second best match of the night. There were some decent spots in it, especially one good spot where Kevin Owens got ran over with like some sort of cart and he went through the window. I think that should have ended the match, but it didn't. I mean, that was like kind of one of the first big spots they done, and Owens didn't even stay down that long. Finish came when Roman Reigns is like handcuffed, and it got awkward because he was handcuffed to like a pole and he couldn't stand up. The referee gets to 6. Paul Heyman's trying to uncuff him, but Paul Heyman has an issue and he can't uncuff Roman Reigns, so the referee stops his count, and it's like a big fucking botch. So, I mean, the referee could have probably counted to about 30 until the time Paul Heyman got Roman Reigns at the cuffs. Roman Reigns got out, and after all the moves that he's done to Kevin Owens, he just chokes him out like with a guillotine. I mean, come on, all these big moves, running him over with a fucking car, but then you end up choking him out. And it's not as if Roman Reigns is known for this like submission. If he's like a fucking Taz or something, or like a Benoit or an Angle or someone that's known for like choking people out. I mean, fair enough. I mean, Benoit choked his entire family out, so fair enough. If he's in the match and he chokes out Kevin Owens to win the belt in a last man standing match, I can get that. Roman Reigns, though, not so much. But Roman Reigns wins. Then we go into the Rumble. Edge and Orton start it out. Decent, decent brawl to begin with. Then a bunch of jobbers comes out. Jeff Hardy comes out just to get eliminated about 2 minutes in by Dolph Ziggler. Why the fuck I don't know. Orton gets taken to the back after Edge smashes him a load of times with a chair. And then the match from here, I mean, it was alright. We got some decent returns. We got Carlito, but he had an apple, but he couldn't spit it because of COVID, which makes his whole fucking gimmick out the window. With Hurricane, who tried to do a repeat of the double choke slam like he did to Austin and Triple H, and it was basically the exact same spot with Big E and Bobby Lashley. In my opinion, a bit lame. I would have done it differently, where Hurricane looks at them both and thinks, and he concedes defeat and then throws himself out. I'd have done something different, not copy a spot that was done 10 times better 20 years ago. Then when Kane came out, actually got a bit of offense in, got a few more eliminations, so he padded his all-time elimination record. That was cool. That was pretty good before Damon Priest eliminated him. Then we had the return of Christian, who I thought couldn't wrestle. I thought Christian was coming out just to like maybe take a clothesline over the top rope or something, or to get some phony elimination. I didn't think Christian was actually going to be taking bumps, but he did. Him and Edge done a few tag team moves, reunited, hugged in the ring. It was great to see Edge and Christian back. Although Matt Riddle sort of fucking stood there like an absolute tool. I know he's their brothers and he's supposed to be the bro, so I get that. But I mean, come on, it's Edge and Christian. We don't want to see fucking Matt Riddle. Get him to fuck. So Edge and Christian battle. Seth Rollins returns, and the guy's that big of a star. I didn't even tell who it was. His entrance music was going for like 10 seconds. And I didn't even know it was Seth Rollins. So that's how much we miss Seth Rollins. He comes out, thought he was going to win. At the end, Braun Strowman comes out number 30. Braun Strowman's about to eliminate Edge. Christian saves Edge, but gets eliminated by Rollins while Edge eliminates Strowman. So it's down to Edge and Rollins. At this, I'm kind of convinced here that fucking Seth Rollins is going to win. But he doesn't. Edge eliminates him. I'm like, happy days. But then Orton comes out and hits an RKO on Edge. And this is like a really good ending here. And I'm thinking, right, this is it. The Fiend's going to debut. The Fiend's going to return. Maybe not even the Fiend physically, but I mean, the lights are going to come out. Maybe the Fiend's face is going to pop up on the what do you call it? The showdown or whatever. What's the arena called with all the TV screens? I thought maybe the Fiend's face was going to appear on all the TVs and distract Orton enough for Edge to get up and eliminate him, but no, it didn't happen. Orton comes in, hits Edge straight away with an RKO, picks him up, goes to eliminate him, but not Orton, Edge turns it around and manages to reverse it and throws out Orton. I mean, how the fuck can he reverse Orton's finisher? Orton just hit his finisher 2 seconds ago, yet Edge has managed to go up and reverse Orton, throwing him out, and throws Orton out 10 to Rumble. I mean, it's cool to see Edge win it. He wins it for number one, so now we've got Edge, Shawn Michaels, and that other guy in 2004 who killed his family that we're not allowed to mention. They've all won it from the number one spot. But I mean, the ending could have been so much better here. They could have played in. I mean, it would have been more believable if Edge had eliminated Orton from a distraction. Plus, it would have advanced the whole and played into the whole Fiend Orton storyline, or maybe that storyline's done because the Fiend didn't appear and Orton didn't even have any burns. He had no makeup, nothing like that. Last week on Monday, he's got first degree burns. This week, he looks fucking fine. So I don't know what that's all about, guys, but a decent man's Royal Rumble match. Probably I would give it like maybe a 6 out of 10 or something like that. It was good. It was nice to see all these returns. It was great to see Edge win it, but it could have been better. I mean, it could have been better. I could easily see me sitting here rating this a 7-8, but I can't because it was throughout the middle of the match. It was a bit uneventful, and I just think things should have been booked a wee bit better. Like the ending, I think the Fiend should have appeared. But overall, though, it wasn't a great pay per view. Apart from this men's Royal Rumble in the Roman Reigns Kevin Owens match, which I thought was okay, but pretty. It was pretty boring, but there was a couple of good spots in it, which I guess kind of made up for it in a sense. This pay per view was pretty abysmal. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. And I think I'm being generous, guys. I think I really am being generous. It had a women's title match that I did not give a shit about. The Goldberg Drew McIntyre match, which even though I kind of like both guys, it was absolutely awful. I didn't even. I'll be honest. I didn't even see the Sasha Banks match. Right. I seen like the last 30 seconds of it. But the women's Royal Rumble and the Drew Goldberg match, I'd give a combined rating of 0. I'd combine those matches and give them a 0. So to me, for the last two matches to bump it up, to get 2 zeros and get this pay per view up to a 3 out of 10, I think is pretty relevant. So I think it's a decent attempt. So anyway, guys, that's it. I will watch Raw later on tonight, see what happens. Edge, will he be on Raw? I don't know. Is Edge a Raw guy, a SmackDown guy? We don't fucking know. He's a WWE guy, I guess, but I don't know if he's affiliated with any brand or not. And let us know what you thought of the Rumble. What was your predictions? My predictions were actually pretty good. Like I said, I think I got them all right. The only one you can have a bit of an issue with is I didn't get the women's Royal Rumble match right, but I mean, who cares? That match was shit. And I did say Edge would win the men's Royal Rumble unless Lesnar was in it. If Lesnar was in it, I was going with Lesnar. So there you go. I got most of it right, just the one I got wrong. Charlotte Flair. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it was pretty good predictions for me. But anyway, guys, that's it. Till next time, Sun Scotland TV. Peace.